What is going on, everybody? Today we're going to be going over everything with the sandwiches. So sandwiches have special abilities and powers depending on how you build them, and we're going to be going over what everything does. So let's get into it. So sandwiches can be kind of confusing if you don't know what everything does. So if you look, we have some pre-made recipes. For this one, it says encounter power ground, level 1, raid power ghost, level 1, and catching power bug, level 1. Well, so encounter power means in the world, you can be running around with this active and have more ground types spawn. Now there are different levels with 1, 2, and 3. Level 3 gives you pretty much everything on the map is going to be a ground type. If the ground type's able to spawn there, it's going to spawn. It won't spawn something else. It's just going to spawn the ground types. Raid power ghost. What I have found from raid power is there's additional drop that you get from the raid. Now, level 1 gives you 1 extra drop. Level 2 gives you 2 extra drops. And level 3 gives you 3 extra drops. They're not super amazing things. They're like nuggets and mushrooms, money items, which is good, but that's not that useful, I have found. You may think, hey, it's a raid. Cool, let's just use this. You can get more items. Yes, but it's up to you on if you want to use all the materials to do that. Because as you see, it's a raid power ghost. That means that Tera type needs to be ghost, not the Pokemon. You could go through and find a bunch of Ghastlies in Tera Raids that are ghost type, but the Tera type is not ghost, so it won't have any effect. The effect of raid power has to be the Tera type of the Pokemon that you're going to go battle. You can go around, do a bunch of ghost type Tera Raids and get this effect, but that's up to you. Catching power bug. If the Pokemon is a bug type, you will have a higher chance to catch it in a lower rate ball. For an example, I like using a luxury ball. It has the same catch rate as a Pokeball, which is horrible on certain Pokemon. I mean, honestly, it doesn't have that very good of a catch rate anyway, but you will be able to catch it more frequently in less attempts with balls like that, the specialty balls like Premier Ball, Pokeball, Luxury Ball, stuff like that. So now there's item drop power and egg power. Item drop power, psychic. If the Pokemon in the open world, like if you're running around the map, it's a psychic type and you knock it out, you will get more of the specific item that Pokemon drops. So that's going to be more helpful on farming materials to make TMs. You can do 1, 2, and 3 as well. And they help as well a lot more because you can get quite a few items from a level 2. I do not recommend doing level 3 because that involves Herba Mystica, which those herbs are going to be required for a sandwich we're going to be going over later. That is way more useful than just giving you level 3 item drop power or anything like that. But item drop power gives you whatever the type is of that Pokemon, its specific item to drop a lot more frequently and give you a lot more of it at a time. Now this sandwich also has egg power level 1, which is pretty good if you need a cheap budget sandwich with just a simple level 1 egg. This could be a very good sandwich for you. Now it does have level 1. What that means is if you're breeding, it's going to give you more eggs more frequently than what you normally would, and it'll actually help you hatch eggs a little bit faster than what you would as well. So it does actually affect egg laying and egg hatching. So keep that in mind if you are looking at egg power. So the Great Peanut Butter Sandwich has your egg power, which is good. That's going to be your number 1 sandwich for breeding because you give egg power level 2. You don't need level 3. What this does is it helps you get eggs a lot quicker. These all sandwiches last 30 minutes. Typically, you would get about 30 eggs in 30 minutes. And if you do this sandwich, the level 2, you can get up to 60 eggs with everything set up the way it needs to be. Perfect, as best as you can do. You can get 60 eggs in 30 minutes, and then you can just hatch them all up. So you can actually get quite a few eggs. Now this sandwich also has XP point power normal. What I have found from that is if you knock out a normal type, you will be getting more XP from that Pokemon than you normally would. So if you do go knock out a Chansey, which is a normal type, which gives a lot of XP, it'll give you a little bit more than what it normally would. I have gone through the game several times and have not needed to use XP point power. So I have found that it's actually just useless. Don't pay attention to that. I do have a video on the channel on how to get more XP a lot easier, a lot quicker, which will be linked in. Some sandwiches have Humongo Power. Well, it's Humongo Power Grass level 2 on this one. What that means is there's a size scaling in the game that a Pokemon can be. It's kind of like Legends Arceus, where you have alphas, they're max size, they're as big as they can be. So that's Humongo. Well, what does Humongo really do? It lets you just get a bigger version of that Pokemon. And there's a person you can talk to at Mesagoza that will give you a ribbon for that Pokemon if it does meet the alpha scale chart. So just like the Humongo mark, you're going to have Teensy Power. Teensy Power is going to be on the opposite end. So this is bug level 1. That means you're going to have a little bit better of a chance to catch one that adds a Teensy mark, or at the size scale that will give you the Teensy mark, because the same person at Mesagoza that gives you the Humongo mark will give you the Teensy mark as well. So that can add another mark from that person to a different Pokemon. Just keep in mind, no Pokemon can have a Teensy mark and a Humongo mark at the same time. So if you are hunting that specific mark for a certain Pokemon, that is how you can get it. So then you have Tidal Power. Now this one is Tidal Power Ice level 2. What that means is you are now going to be using Herbs and Mystica. So that is going to be an endgame item that you get from 5 and 6 star raids, which are very difficult raids, but you are able to get them. It'll give you 2 special powers of the sandwich: Tidal Mark and Sparkling Power. Tidal Power is going to allow you to go hunt an ice type, because on this one it's a Tidal Power Ice level 2. If you go hunt an ice type, you will have a better chance of having one that's marked a special mark, which typically is a 1 out of 50 for the common. So you can go catch 50 and you should catch at least one of that Pokemon with a mark, but it has to be a specific type. As here, it needs to be an ice type. Marks are very rare, but they kind of are very fun because it gives the Pokemon a special name or personality to them. For a mark, it would pop up like this. So this one is my Iron Valiant. It's the Dozy. So if you look at it, I have the Dusk mark, and Tidal Conferred is what it's going to be whenever you throw it out in battle. So if you throw it out, it will normally say go Iron Valiant. This one is going to say go Iron Valiant, the Dozy. So it does give it a special name that it can kind of add some more personality to it. So the last one we're going to be going over is Sparkling Power. Now, if you look at this sandwich, it has Encounter Power, Tidal Power, and Sparkling Power. These are what you do whenever you go shiny hunting. This gives you the best odds. So Sparkling Power is actually going to be very endgame. You need Herbs and Mystica. And what they do is they help you get a better chance at finding a shiny. So a shiny Pokemon is a different color palette than a normal one. If you are using sandwiches like this, this means if there's a normal type in the area, like in the spawn pool, it is going to spawn 100% of the time. Tidal Power level 3 is going to allow it to have a better chance at getting a title. That 1 in 50 kind of becomes a 1 in 2. So the very common marks pretty much become a 1 in 2 chance. And then Sparkling Power level 3 normal type means you have a very high chance at finding a normal type shiny Pokemon. It will have to be normal type because the sandwiches do vary on typings. You can use one of these 2 sandwich recipes. These are the ones I use. The left one is the one I used for this. Demonstrate it does require very specific herbs to make the smallest sandwich. The other sandwich works exactly the same and has way more items though. So if you do have all the herbs to make the small sandwich, go ahead and make that. It makes it a lot easier. Just keep in mind, you don't have to put the top bun on. It has no effect. And pick has no effect either. Just make sure nothing falls off. But that's everything that the sandwiches do. Kind of a breakdown on how they do it and what they're capable of. So if you like this video and it helped you out, determine which sandwiches you kind of want to prioritize on making, what helps you out in playthroughs, stuff like that, go ahead, drop a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.